These are the 12 tips that are going to help you retire early with total confidence, because I do not want you retiring too early going, should I have worked another year or 2 years so I can actually spend what I want the rest of my life? And I also don't want you going, hey, I'm 75 now, but at this point I've got $4 million. I don't really need $4 million. I wish I retired earlier when I had more time with family and friends and prioritizing my health. So my job is to make sure you don't retire too early and that you're not mad at me later. That's what this channel is all about. My whole goal is to make sure you retire early with confidence. This video is one of my favorites and I hope you enjoy it. If you don't already know, my name is Taublieb. I'm a certified financial planner. I'm the host of the Early Retirement Podcast, and I'm the vice president at Root Financial Partners. 2 quick logistics before today's video. Number 1 is most of you guys watching this video right now are not subscribed to the channel. Please do not subscribe if you do not want guidance on healthcare strategies, on taxes, on withdrawal, on investing, on portfolio management techniques. This is not the channel for you, and I don't want you watching videos that you don't like. If you're like, no, I want this next level of planning beyond just should I rebalance, I want help on taxes and investments and everything I just discussed, I invite you to subscribe, and you can see here, I just want to help as many people as possible, and I hope this is your go-to channel for early retirement guidance. The second announcement is I go live every Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific time, sometimes 3:30, and I just do that to confuse you guys. No, I don't do it for that reason. Okay, you guys can see if you go to my channel and click the live button right here, this is a different type of content. So this is if you're like, hey, I kind of like the long, informal, educational content, feels a little bit more authentic to me. In today's video, I'm just giving you the raw tips. Here you go. If you're like, look, I want some more entertainment at the same time, I still want to get educated on smart tax strategies, on healthcare, on withdrawal, on paying off my mortgage or not, you can see this is a longer style. And some of you guys resonate with this more. Others of you go, no, I just want the raw videos. So just an option for you. So here's the 12 tips. Number 1, yes, you are going to need to save aggressively if you want to retire early. Now, I joke that I'm the meanest financial advisor, but I'm not actually mean. At least I don't try to be. I just want to be transparent. I don't want to sugarcoat anything. I want you to know, are you in a good spot or are you not? And if you're not, what do you need to do to get there? So yes, you need to save aggressively, but what you don't want to do, and so this isn't really a tip as much as a please don't do this, don't save to the wrong account. Let me show you an example. This was last week's case study, and if you look at my screen right here, you can see this is a couple that is in their mid-50s. They have 1.1 million in a 401k and 45,000 in a brokerage account, which I nicknamed the superhero because this lets someone retire early. Now, what is the problem with this? The problem is this couple is qualified rich, cash poor. No, that's not a real thing. I just made that up. You've probably heard of house rich, cash poor, which is most of your net worth is tied up in your home, but you can't actually retire. You don't have liquid assets. At the same time, this is what's called qualified rich, cash poor. Once again, I made it up. This couple has all of their money, not all, but nearly all of it, in a 401k. Awesome. They cannot touch it for some time. And I'd argue they have too much in their 401k. Why? What they've been doing is maxing out their 401k for 30 years and going, look, I think that's the right thing to do. And it's not bad, but now they're in a stage of life where they have plenty in their 401k. What if they want to retire at 54? They can't because they don't have anywhere else to draw income from. So for this couple, if you have a lot of money and if you're out there going, yep, I've got my 401k, I've got my IRA, it's got $1 million in it, or it's going to have that, what you can see is you might want to, I might encourage you, and I'm saying this, but please know, this is not financial advice. This is for educational and information purposes only. Please go consult a financial advisor, tax professional, a state attorney for financial, tax, legal advice. That's my big disclaimer. But no, this couple, I might go to them and say, hey guys, you have plenty in your 401k. If that just keeps growing at its current rate and compounds, what's going to happen is the 1 million is going to become 2 and then 4 and then 8, and you probably don't want that amount of money. Now, you probably do want it, but you also want to retire early. And if you had 4 million instead of 8 million, you might tell me you're okay. So I would tell this couple, before you retire early, encourage no longer maxing out your 401k. Maybe instead, get the free match, because I cannot give up free money. So if this person gets a match up to 5%, do the 401k match to 5%, but then after that, maybe go to a brokerage account. I see they don't have an HSA. I see they don't have a Roth. Maybe consider doing a backdoor Roth. Maybe consider going to an HSA account if they have a high deductible plan. Maybe consider a few other options that are going to put them in a better spot. So number one tip is save aggressively, but do it to the right accounts. Number two is have a superhero account. What is the reason for this? The reason for this is amazing because one, if you want to retire early, this is where you can withdraw income from. So at the 401k, you cannot touch it until 59 and a half. Or if you are 55 and retire, and this is a mistake a lot of people do, is they go, Ari, I heard about the rule of 55 from one of your videos. And if I retire early, and let's assume it's 57, and I want to withdraw income, it's not a big deal. I can take it from my 401k because I'm over 55, and there's a rule for that. I go, there is, but you're not optimizing. They're like, why not? I said, just because you can pull from it doesn't mean you should. In the same way, you can max out your 401k, but you might want to retire early. A superhero account, the way you pay taxes on it is at 0%, 15%, or 20%. It's called capital gains. When you take money out of a 401k or an IRA, you pay at ordinary income. So you could be paying at 12 or 22 or 24 or maybe 32% taxes. So a superhero account doesn't give you a deduction today, but what it does is oftentimes more important, which it lets you retire earlier and you pay less taxes when you take the money out. Number three, pro tip, do not live below your means. Some of you guys are like, what do you mean? That's the worst financial advice I've ever heard. Retirement is not about living below your means. Retirement is about going, what do I need to do to be in a great spot to spend what I would love to spend the rest of my life? Up until retirement, I tell my clients, live below your means. Max out your 401k. Do your Roth IRA. Don't overspend. Retirement, that's not what it's about. It's about spending what you'd love to spend. And sometimes I tell someone, go work another year or 2 years to spend what you'd actually want the rest of your life. Tip number four, don't have one income stream. Don't just have a 401k. Some of you guys have real estate. Some of you guys have actual investments that own real estate passively. My whole point here, don't just have the S&P 500. Don't just have a 60-40 portfolio. Now, some of you are like, I don't have a pension. I don't have rental income. I don't have inheritance coming in. Great. You can still retire early. What I'm saying is don't put all your eggs in one investment. If all your money's at Vanguard, but it's diversified, that's not a problem. But don't make the mistake of just having all your investments in one equity, which some of you guys have. You have a concentrated stock position. You've got $2 million in Tesla. You don't want Tesla to dictate whether you have a good retirement or not. No, drag on Tesla, but want to make sure we're smart. Number five, don't get screwed in fees. That's right. I'm an advisor. I charge a fee for my guidance. I believe it's worth it, or else I would not be charging it because my parents were burned by 4 advisors, which is why I became a financial advisor. Now, don't go pay high fees in your investments. That is the equivalent of going to Whole Foods and buying paper plates. It's not worth the fee. But I'll tell people, hey, why don't you just go to the dollar store for everything? And they're like, yeah, I'm not sure the value's worth it. And I say, it's probably not. You probably don't want steak from the dollar store. But maybe there's a Trader Joe's or a middle ground. So I'm not saying fees are awful. You guys are all paid a fee so that you get to make money. Fees are not evil. It's only evil if you're not getting value for it. So make sure you're getting value. Number 6, please no debt. Please don't do debt. If you have a mortgage, I'm cool with it. Outside of that, don't do credit cards and travel hacking. And if you love spending your time doing it, okay. But for most of you guys, look, don't go retiring early with debt and you've got 3 mortgages and you're like, yeah, but I'm probably going to pay it off later. And now you have a stressful retirement. Not worth it. Number 7, big one, understand your withdrawal rate. How much can you pull from your portfolio? This is huge. Let's look at an example. So this couple here, they've got north of $1 million. They're in their mid-50s. They want to retire early. If you guys want to play around with this tool that I'm about to show you, where you can go in and go, what if we retire earlier? And what if we spend more? And what if we take a big vacation? And what if we don't invest well? You guys can go get access to this inside of my Early Retirement Academy. You can see it right here. This is ideal for those of you who have $1 million in your 401k or an IRA. You don't really need an advisor yet because you've got some time until it's important to hire one. That's right. I'm the weird advisor that says everyone doesn't need an advisor. It just depends on timing. And I have lots of videos saying, should you manage your own money? When does it make sense to hire an advisor? I want to make sure you do it at the right time. So looking at withdrawal rates for this couple, I can see their withdrawal rate when they retire at 61 says 7.5%. That is too high. That is someone who, if they were to take 7.5%, out every single year will run out of money. Not being mean, just being transparent here. So what you can see, what would I tell this couple? I'd say, hey guys, and yeah, I talk casually with my couples, like they're humans, not like they're robots. And you can see here, I'd say, guys, this is too high. Now the good news is it's not 7.5% and increasing. And at some point here, we're in the 4% range, but sometimes this can still not be sustainable if it turns out you're going to go buy another home or you're going to spend more than you think in retirement. So what we want to do is determine what is a sustainable withdrawal rate. I like to be in the range of 5 to 5.5%. And the reason for that, and you can see it in this video here where I go over withdrawal strategies in more detail, I don't want you to run the risk of running out of money. So for this couple, I'd want to have a conversation to go, hey, do you really want to spend $6,000 a month? Is $20,000 a year in vacations really sustainable? Because if so, and that would excite you, great, let's have a conversation as to if this is possible. But maybe we're not taking out 7.5%, meaning maybe we don't do that vacation that year. In the same year, we have a healthcare expense. In the same year, we have a remodel. Number 8 is please take care of the big expenses before you retire. As much as possible, I don't want you max out your 401k if you're going to do a home remodel, if you have a big travel vacation coming up. Because what I need you to do is limit the amount of unlucky probability. What if you retire early? You didn't do a home remodel. You determined before you retired early, you're just going to wait. Now you retire early at 60 and you go, Ari, I'm doing a home remodel. I'm traveling. I have healthcare expenses and markets are not doing well. So am I going to be okay? I'm like, look, you might be okay, but you're going to run the risk of not a rosy retirement. Because what happens is if you spend too much too early on, you run the risk of not having a fun retirement in your 70s and 80s, and you don't want to worry about that. Number 9, ask yourself, are you really going to do no more income when you retire? Not do no more income, but are you going to not bring in any more income? Some of you are like, when I retire at 60, I'm done. I'm going to spend time with family and friends and do what I want to do. Others of you might be more like me, where you're like, look, I'm probably going to do something. I don't know what it is, but maybe I'm going to volunteer. Maybe I do some part-time job. Maybe I stay on as a consultant. If you're going to do part-time income, I want you to consider that in your plan. Because you can see here, this couple, we plan on doing no part-time income. But what if they're like, look, we're going to do something. We're going to retire. I want to retire at, let's say, 59 and 57. And I'm going to bring in $50,000 a year because I like it. I'm going to do something. Well, look at the impact on the plan. It's significant. At first, it's like 7%. Then it drops 4%, 3%, 5%. I want this couple going, let's have a dynamic retirement. So consider part-time income because it can play a big role. Number 10, please plan for healthcare. Healthcare is the biggest reason I see people not retire early. And that should not be the reason they don't retire early. Now, sometimes it can be expensive. I have clients that spend $1,500 a month on healthcare. I have other clients that spend $50 a month on healthcare. Your plan can really change if you are optimizing the way you view healthcare. And I want you to consider, should we do Roth conversion? Should we prioritize healthcare subsidies? Should we think about, I just said subsidies. You know what I meant, subsidies. Should we consider another strategy, such as tax gain harvesting, where you pay 0% in taxes and get a healthcare subsidy? There's a next level of planning, and I want you to consider it. 11, what the heck are you going to do in retirement? Some of you are like, I don't know. I just worked for 40 years at a job that I didn't really love, so I haven't really had time to pursue passions, but I'm not worried about being bored. Others of you are like, no. I don't know what the heck I'm going to do. I'm worried. How do I spend my time? What am I going to do? I think I'm going to be okay, but I don't really know. Maybe my spouse doesn't like me. I haven't seen her for 30 years because I've been working. Others are like, no, I'm really not worried. Just financially, am I good to go? If you're in the boat of, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, I have lots of videos and podcasts where I go over what are activities and other things you just may not have considered. If I give you one idea that changes your whole retirement, it's worth it to me. So consider watching those videos. I hope they're helpful. Lastly, I want to ensure that you have a legacy plan. What does that mean? Tip number 12 is, what is success to you? Because some of you go, I want to die with 10 million bucks because I want to leave 5 million to both of my kids. Others of you go, no. I read Die with Zero. I'm very familiar. I don't want to die with 2 million bucks or 1 million bucks. I mean, I don't want to cut it close, but I want to make sure that I'm spending what I just worked so hard for. Well, if you want to leave 10 million behind, or you want to pass away with $200, you should have a very different retirement. And if you are not looking at it in that light and you're like, yeah, my retirement looks like I'm in a good spot, but I didn't consider I want to leave $2 million to a kid, or I didn't consider that I don't really want to die with $2 million. You might be able to retire way earlier because you don't have a big legacy goal. The mistake I see people make is they're like, well, my neighbor has $2 million and they just retired. And, here I am with $3 million and I haven't retired. Maybe you want to spend way more than your neighbor. Maybe your neighbor has not calculated their withdrawal rate. So they retired and you look at them and they're having fun. They're making fun of you when you go to work every day, but they might be in a worse spot because they might have most of their equity in their home and they have a reverse mortgage. Like, you don't know what people have going on in their finances. So do not assume that because someone's retired that they are in a good spot. 20% of my week today is doing what's called revisional planning. That is when someone retires early, unsuccessfully, spends too much when they did not diversify, they've got health care, they're traveling, there's no inheritance, and they spend too much where now they're like, hey, my portfolio is going down quickly. Should I go back to work? And sometimes I'm like, yeah, you should. Other times I'm like, you don't need to, but you need to make this shift instead. So trust me, guys, you don't want to be in that spot where you have to retire early again. You just want to do it once and you want to do it right. So how do people work with me? The first option here, as you can see, this is where I encourage people to start. This is the academy. This is if you want to be your own advisor, run through your own projections, and you want to optimize. That is what this is all about. Run the what if scenarios. See if you should do Roth conversions. Look about umbrella insurance. Do the optimization on your plan. It is a big, powerful thing that you can go ahead and get guidance from if you have the time to do it. If you're like, this is great, but I think I'd rather work with your team. You guys are professional. This is what you do. You can go to the website or you can go to the description of this video and you can go fill out a form and tell us what it is you're looking for, and we'll be able to point you in the right direction, whether it's working with us or going somewhere else. We want you to get the best guidance ever, and I encourage you to take your retirement seriously. I hope it's fun. I think this was helpful, these tips, but I don't know, and I want to hear from you. So if this was helpful, please like this video. Please drop a comment saying, yep, this was helpful. I didn't consider this tip. Or, you know what, I already knew everything you just said, but I just watched a different video of yours, and that clicked regarding Roth conversions. Guys, I want this to be your channel to optimize what you work so hard for. I'll see y'all next time.